All right, I am here with the, I want to say honorable, legendary, iconic. There's so many words here to describe this gentleman. I call you one of the most famous dadagers ever, dads who are managers. Mathew Knowles is joining me today. Such a honor, sir. Thank you for making the time today.
Thank you, Mina, for giving us this opportunity.
Of course. I'm going to jump right into what you've been working on. Destiny's Child, Iconic Reimagined, a tribute. What inspired this? What was the
Well,
day where
I
you were like, I need to tribute this group that I helped build?
I think it's no right time than now. And I just gave thought to why not now? Back in 2006, the ladies were honored with being the number one female R&B and pop group of all times by the World Music Award. So it's not an award I gave. It was an award deserved and factual. So I thought, as we are looking at the 25th year, that it was time to really give honor to the ladies, and individually and collectively. There would be no Beyonce, there would be no Michelle on Broadway, there would be no Kelly on TV if it wasn't for Destiny's Child setting that foundation for them. So that's what gave me the inspiration, was to celebrate the ladies.
Right. This is not like your average tribute, which we've seen. I mean, my mom loves a Michael Jackson tribute. Let me tell you that, okay? Every single one, my mom's there, but this is a little different. How would you describe this experience for people?
It's reimaginable. I mean, the fact that you have a string quintet, and imagine this room and dark, thousands of candles, and there's in the center of it, in most cases, is a string quintet playing the hit songs of Destiny's Child. We go a step further. We encourage the audience, which is an intimate setting. We do two shows a night, and typically it averages around 500 people per show. So imagine that you have this intimate setting, and everyone singing their hearts out of these songs that they grew up on 20 plus 30 years ago. It's a really incredible moment in time. And to see everyone dress up chic, enjoy themselves, and in an intimate setting with culture, it's really, really amazing.
So I'm imagining the string quintet. They're playing the music. So it's music based and you're using the audience to carry the words, correct?
Exactly. Carry the words as well as the lyrics and the sound, the vocals. I mean, these ladies mainly are singing their hearts out from the beginning to the end, and then in between, I narrate. And I give some backstory on how some of these songs came about, which is surprising to most people, how a lot of these songs came about. And if you listen to some of those hit songs like Emotions and others, they have strings in them. So
Right.
it really brings out the strings that were already there.
Did you consider any other instruments? Why the strings, I guess I ask.
Well, we partner with a company that does thousands of these shows around the world every day. Out of Spain, Fever. They do types of experiences called candlelight. Some folks have been to some of those. They do Taylor Swift. They do other artists. But in those occasions, the audience isn't allowed to sing. There's no narrator. So myself and Kim Burse is her name, who was the music director for every time you saw Destiny's Child for 25 plus years. And so we curated this show together, went to New York, And it's amazing to see from city to city because these are exceptional musicians that plays every note and get it right. And typically there's a quartet that Fever does, but I wanted to have an upright bass to give it more the contemporary urban sound. And so it gives you that moment in time. Folks had their video phones out and cameras out and sharing that with everyone. It's amazing just the feedback we've gotten has been absolutely, we're on to something. We plan to scale this around the world in the next year.
So the concert's completely candlelit. What aesthetically, what does that add to the performance, the candles?
You know, it's interesting um, because I went to my first show a year plus years ago, a year ago, and it's just an atmosphere that is all consuming. You're so engaged in these moments. And you're just reimagining where you were and just something about the beauty and sensational of the candles. I could only imagine we, on our first run, we actually did a few cathedrals. But then I thought, maybe not the place to do Bootylicious. So we learned through that idea and we refined it. This is our second run, and we'll be announcing the third one. We're out on the West Coast coming up soon.
So you're talking about this a little bit. You did a phase one and that was successful, that now you're launching phase two. How many cities did you do in that phase one?
Hey, we did 8 cities in phase one, 16 dates. We're doing seven on this run, 14 dates, and then I'll be announcing the West Coast for the upcoming winter. We learned something. We learned a lot on the first run. You don't do DC and New York when it's 6 degrees and snowing.
Right?
So
You're
we've
gonna need a
learned
lot more candles, Mr.
you know,
Knowles. It's cold.
we learn about these before tributes based on the seasonal aspect of the cities. So we're excited about Philadelphia and the Independence Seaport Museum. I heard that it's a brand new facility. It's relatively new. It has a lot of character, and looking forward. I think that holds 500, 550 per show. So we're excited about a 6:30 show and an 8:45 show, and thousands of candles, and
Right.
seeing folks singing their heart out as they reimagine those hit songs of Destiny's Child.
So, what song really surprised you, or when you heard the it transform into more of like an orchestral version of it?
We have a couple of surprises at the end. And it's a surprise that I don't want to give away. You have to come and see it.
Right.
Uh, so I'm not going to give away the surprise, but I think probably emotions and that the version that Destiny's Child did of emotions is such a beautiful. But I tell you, the song that gets the most reaction is Bills, Bills, Bills.
Right, of course. I
Yes.
know you reserve your stories for the actual show, but can you share a story that maybe you've shared already in phase one that people love to hear about a particular song?
Yeah, folks don't realize how Beyonce fast singing style came about. And I share that with the audience, how this fast singing style came because a producer showed up late for a recording session. And I'll leave it at that.
Wyclef.
You're so
Wyclef
smart.
showed up
You're so
late.
smart. You're so
Beyonce
smart.
was mad. She said, "Let's get to this because we've been waiting on you for 2 hours." And, you know,
Maybe more like Four.
Or I went down the rabbit hole and I was watching the Star Search video of Girls Time, pre Destiny's Child. And it hit me right there that Beyonce has been singing, rapping since she was that young. Um, and it's funny because the she and the women delve into more of the R&B scene, but it makes sense now why she kind of started doing a little bit more singing, rapping, which is very, very trendy, thanks to Mr. Drake. But Beyonce was doing that since she was a kid, and that video reminded me of that, and what you just said reminded me of that as well.
Yeah, not to the extreme. She was working on her craft at such a young age. But this experience really, really brought it to a new light. Um, but you also get to see the power of each one of their voices. You actually get to see also the power of Michelle Williams' voice and how it's positioned in these songs in a special way. Because now you're hearing melodies. And that's giving you a totally new musicality of the songs. When you look at the three aspects of a song, I won't go to classroom on you right now, but we talk about,
Please take us, listen, take us to the class.
when we look at the three aspects of a song, it's the melody, the lyrics, and the music bed. Folks often forget the power of the melody. And so the audience becomes that melody.
Right.
And it's amazing to see. It's also amazing to see, and you understand the God-given talent that Beyonce has as a songwriter. We forget that she was the first Black woman to be ASCAP Songwriter of the Year
Yeah.
years ago.
I wanted to talk about the 20th, 25th anniversary of Survivor because this kind of coincides with that. And she wrote 17 out of 18 songs on the record and produced every single one. And at the time, there weren't a lot of women doing that.
Yeah, there wasn't a
So
lot of women doing Missy Elliott, name a few. Um, and it really angered me in a way that women weren't given that opportunity. It wasn't because they weren't talented; they just weren't given that opportunity once they were in the studio. And a lot of credit of the publishing was given to the music bed rather than to the melody. Actually, in R&B world, the melody is not given that much publishing at all. It's typically 50% for the music bed, 50% for the lyrics. But that's not how publishing is supposed to work. And I fought extremely hard to change that in the industry.
yeah. What songs off Survivor, just talking about the 25th anniversary, are featured in this tribute?
Ah, that's a great question. I never really stopped to count them. Um, Typically, the show is 70 minutes.
So you mentioned Bootylicious, so we
Right.
know that's on there.
Well, right. Uh, Obviously, Survivor is on there.
Hmm.
Uh, Independent Women is on there. And that's all I'm going to give away.
I have a question about that title.
Which
It,
one, Survivor?
yeah. So originally the whole album was called Independent Woman, and I've seen countless theories as to why it changed to Survivor. What is your, I guess, recollection of why the album title changed?
Well, there's a number of reasons. MTV, we partnered with MTV uh, on a tour. Years ago, they had Nelly and Eve and other artists, and folks don't understand that I bought the management companies of Nelly and Eve and how Dilemma and Kelly came about. People know me for Destiny's Child, but they don't know me for the Music World Sanctuary Urban Management, which was the largest urban management company in the world. So when we were working with MTV, the original name of the tour was going to be Independent Women Tour. And they wanted to change it to the MTV TRL Tour, which I'm really into branding. And so the story of how that song Survivor came about and its impact, not only just musically, but for example, I remember reading a fan letter where a woman was in the bathtub with a razor about to slit her wrist. And in her kitchen was the radio playing Survivor, and it saved her life. And the endless letters that we got from various people of how that impacted me with my cancer survival. It was a song that I was singing in my head being rolled into the operating room. So that's just that whole survivor. My former wife Tina did a great job on imaging with the military kind of motif to it all. So it was a completely thought out strategy to it.
Yeah.
Nothing happens at Music World happenstance.
Right. I wanted to talk about your company, and this is some back of the house stuff that maybe you may not be able to discuss, but what when you're putting something like this together, it is through your company, Music World Entertainment. Did the ladies have to sign off on this at all?
No, for whenever you do a tribute, you don't have to do that. But out of respect for them, I certainly spoke to each and every one of them. They've even posted on their social media, and I can share that the record sales of Destiny's Child, because of the marketing and advertising, have increased substantially because of this tribute.
I wanted to talk about that because there's a big like Y2K culture right now where people are very obsessed with kind of what we consider older, but people are discovering it now because of the internet. How much do you think that interest in Y2K culture has kind of helped the resurgence of Destiny's Child music? Has it been that has contributed to something like this being
Yeah,
successful?
you're right on about that because I originally thought before we did the research and before we got the sales, I thought that the core demo would be 45 to 55, when in fact the core demo is 35 to 45,
Yeah.
which was very interesting that it's younger because you would think that someone that was 35 were really like 10 years old or 5 years old when Destiny's
That
Child
was
came.
me, but I
You
grew
know,
up on these ladies. That's
and
why.
it's the subconscious because music stays in our soul. And it's the subconscious of you don't know why you like it, but it's because you heard it, repetition and growing up as a child and the
Right.
impact subconsciously it made on us.
Music business wise, when you're putting something like this together, do you need to get like approval, like any kind of performance licenses or
The
approval
publishing,
from
yes. Yes.
publishing?
The publishing absolutely has to be approved.
And your company owns some of the publishing, but not all, from my understanding. How did that play into trying to perform these songs in this way?
No, Music World Destiny's Child doesn't own a majority or even close to the majority. I co-wrote Survivor, and
Mhm.
there's a couple other songs that I co-wrote, but no, we had to go and get the traditional publishing that any tribute has to do. That's why you're able to do Taylor Swift and all the other artists. Is you do have to pay the publishing, but you
To the
don't
label,
have to do
right?
to the
To the
publishing
label?
companies.
Oh, got it.
What's the like Sony Publishing? You would have to pay the publishers who wrote those songs.
Okay.
So
So now that
there's a monetary reward for the ladies who wrote the songs as well as their record sales increasing. So there is a monetary award. And these things, as anything, it takes time before they're profitable. We didn't go into this thinking instant profitability. We went into it first and foremost to give back to the fans, to pay a tribute to the ladies of being the best and being unapologetic that they are the number one female group of all time. People need to say that more.
And that actually leads to my next question. What do you believe is the group's greatest legacy beyond the music?
I think for what they stood for as women, um, you know, when you think of those songs, Independent Women, Bootylicious, Bills, 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 they were really based on female empowerment. Uh, and also, they had a significant LGBTQ plus relationship in the marketplace as well, growing up in Houston, and Houston being one of the largest gay communities in America, who really, really supported Destiny's Child. So I think it was a combination of a lot of wonderful things. First, the talent of the ladies and their passion for their music and their give back to their fans. Destiny's Child has never missed a concert in their whole career.
Right. For you
Never.
personally, what's the most rewarding part about bringing this tribute to audiences across the country?
For me personally, is to be in that room at the moment and to see the impact that Destiny's Child has had and the impact the songs have had on many, many people. And to see the joy and enjoyment that people are sharing when they're there. They're in the moment. It's like nothing else matters in those 70 minutes. Just to see that they're all engaged in the moment is a beautiful thing. It's really what music should be about.
When you were going through like actively building these careers and releasing this music, did you know at the time what that impact would be?
Well, we certainly don't know. We certainly have goals that we've set. And because we have strategies and goals, what I did know was the talent of the ladies. And what I did know is their work ethics and the passion that they have. And again, this is a give back to them, first and foremost,
Yeah.
and as well to their fans.
And my last question is, if you can sum up Destiny's Child's iconic reimagined tribute in one sentence, what would that sentence be?
The ability to reimagine some of the greatest hits by a female girl group of all times.
Thank you, Mr. Knowles.
You didn't say what about the tickets?
Well, all of that will be in the article.
Oh, good.
Yes.
You know, I'm a sales
I
and
have the
marketing
link
guy.
right here. I've gotten all, I already looked at, I have the Dropbox, I have the pictures, Mr. Knowles.
Well,
I'm
make sure
there.
you send them, please, to destinychild.com. And one of the things that I did think about when I thought about our interview is, and my next call is with the team, we haven't reinforced the fact that you can't buy these tickets once the show starts. There's no box office. You have to buy them online. And I think we've got to do a better job of reinforcing that to people because we've had some situations that traditionally people think they can show up and buy the tickets at the box office.
And it's at destinychild.com. And the dates are July 24th in Houston, which is a big city for you, the kickoff of phase two. New York is August 6th, Philadelphia is August 14th, Washington, D.C., August 16th, Detroit, August 28th, and Chicago, August 29th.
And more to follow. Thank you for the interview.
And phase three is coming on the West Coast. Look at you, Mr. Knowles, just building it out. I love
Uh,
it.
one step at a time.
One step. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. Again, thank you for everything that you've done to contribute to our childhood and literally us having this inspirational music that carried us through our years from being children into adults, really. Those songs
Well,
still resonate.
we couldn't do it without the fans, right? So
Yeah.
thank you.